Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. Here's a heads up weather for today. We've been doing these every day now because of the snow, and there's a round two coming, and we'll talk more about its potential to lay down additional snow in the Ozarks. And of course, I'll tell you what's already fallen. And we'll just start with a picture out my own back door. There's what it looks like. You know what's kind of funny about this? I never put this away. This right here is a large aluminum pot that we used for an outdoor fish boil on Christmas Day when it was 75. So we've come a long way. I'm in southeast Springfield, and we got just shy of 2 inches here. And with more on the way, this round two was, I think, always supposed to be the heavier round. And we're going to discuss how heavy in just a second. First of all, the overview, of course, of what's going on. We have this huge storm system taking up, about 1/3 of the U.S., really. It is the definite thing to watch here, right in through here, as we still have this swirl you can clearly see down in Mexico there. Overlay the low on top of that, so this is yet to eject into the plains, and we'll get a piece of that here in Springfield, but most of the energy with that is actually headed in this direction here, but it will enhance the lift in the atmosphere here and give us a second round of snow here for sure, and we'll talk about it. Let's look at the local radar loop. I recorded this about 1:45 this afternoon. So it's interesting because this little band of snow right here at the very last frame was a pretty good band of snow here. And if you get under one of these little purple areas here, you're going to see enhanced snowfall. But you notice it's not solid. So this what leads to some of these snow totals being very high in, let's say, one county and maybe half that in the next county over. Here's a wider view of the radar loop. The diamond shape to the snowflakes right here is heavy snow that was reported at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock in Springfield. The next one down is moderate snow, so that forms a triangle like that over there near Enid. And that is Enid, actually. And then the two snowflakes side by side are light snow. So most of the area is light snow. But again, if you get underneath one of these little bands right here, you can bump it up pretty easily. And it's all snow, except there is some freezing drizzle and rain from Little Rock and sleet also over to around the Memphis area. And that's where that ice storm warning is actually in effect for this area right here for the rest of this afternoon and tonight. We'll take a look at some of the snow reports here. Last 24 hours. So again, this doesn't count. This is the airport's measurement, 0.2 of an inch. But as you saw, I live here, and I had 2 inches, and it looks like Mount Vernon had about 2 inches. Down around the Branson area, maybe 2.5 inches. You go down into southern Berry County, northwest Arkansas, 2 to 4 inch totals are pretty common there. The Tulsa area had about 3 to 5 inches or so. And then there was a secondary band. Remember I said yesterday on the video we were going to fall between these two right here in Springfield? That's pretty much what happened so far overnight last night. But now what is going to happen tonight? So here's the National Weather Service compilation of all the forecasts from all the offices. And so if you see this kind of orange color right here, look at the scale, that's an 8 to 12 inch total band. Now, this is through, effectively when the snow ends, it says 6 a.m. Monday, but really this is through about noon, maybe 2 o'clock on Tuesday is when any of the significant snow will have ended. And you do have to take away a little bit of snow from this already. So, in other words, if it says 8 inches here, but they've already gotten 4 there in southern Berry County, so that's an additional 4. So just keep that in mind when you look at all these charts. So this is the NAM, the short-range model forecast through Sunday. Again, for Springfield, it says 7.4, but you can probably take away a few inches from that and to get the storm, additional total from that, because some of this already fell. This model is run at 6 a.m. in the morning, excuse me, and it snowed after that. We'll take a look at Arkansas. And you remember how crazy the models were looking? You remember at one time this was supposed to be the battleground right here. It just shows you how fickle these snowfall rates can be. And now not nearly as much here. Most of northwest Arkansas still going to get the most snow out of any of us by the time all this is wrapped up. Now, if we look at the HRRR forecast through midnight tomorrow, this is the high-res model. It shows 9 inches in Springfield. I think, again, it's probably the outlier. I don't think we'll get that much. I don't think the storm has it in it. But similar totals. In fact, if you look at all these readings across southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas, they're all within about an inch of the same value. So very interesting. If we take a look at Arkansas's version of the same map, a little bit less. Again, remember, this was the foot of snow area right here, so that has backed off quite a bit. Look at a time series. In other words, when will the snow start and stop? So again, all these models are clustering together pretty well on the uptick, beginning at midnight, maybe 10 o'clock tonight, and the snow increasing between then and then this is 6 a.m. Sunday morning right about here. And additional snow is falling between 6 and 8 inches. According to all the model consensus, there are some oddballs up here, but I'm not really too concerned about that. Again, shave a few inches off of that because it's already fallen. So maybe 4 to 6 inches additional snow, with Springfield probably coming in, I would say our official total by midnight. And there's a beer riding on this, I'll explain later, but is 4.5 inches at midnight. We may get there. And then after that, probably another 2 or so, maybe 3. Again, it's hard to really nail down one specific city. As you saw, if you get one of those little bands over your county, it could easily double your snowfall total when compared to your neighbors. So at 6 o'clock tonight, the snow is still lightly falling across Missouri, but you can see evidence of a second band right there. The colors that get deeper mean that precipitation is heavier. This is sleet, by the way, in case you haven't been watching. Usually the heaviest snow falls right on the northern edge of the sleet in the snow area. That's where probably the deepest moisture is. So by Saturday midnight, that squarely points at Tulsa and Branson and let's say extreme southwest Missouri, like Cassville. Those areas seem to be getting the brunt of that, with it lessening as it goes north, of course. And then by Sunday at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, still some pretty good snows, but winding down for the most part. And then that's it, really. That's by noon or even 1 o'clock. On Sunday, it's pretty much over. So the low temperature tomorrow morning will be a lonely 4 in Springfield, 6 in Rolla, 6 in Mountain Home. And then the high tomorrow on Sunday, only 14 if we're lucky. Same for Rolla, maybe a tad warmer in northern Arkansas, but all pretty cold. And then it always has been the case, we're going to go below zero on Monday morning with -4, -5 degree readings. Pretty common across the area. And then that's on Monday, and then the high temperature on Monday only recovers to 17. And that is the wrap for today. I may bring you one tonight if I see a snow emergency scenario coming up. I don't think that'll be the case. If that were the case, I would probably issue another video this evening, or maybe even just post on Facebook a real quick message about any significant changes. But again, it's going to slowly wind down this afternoon, pick up again around 10 o'clock tonight, go through the overnight hours, and then be out of here probably by lunch on Sunday.